even later than normal today. Had to wait at home for some plumbing to be done. So I was extra delayed. Ooh, my coffee smells extra good today. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome back to my messy studio. We have some prints to share this morning. I brought some things in, which maybe I can share too. We've got some prints on there. We've got some prints over here. I can give you some updates on the stuff I printed before because that's looking great. That's why I shared that in the thumbnail. Might have seen it, might not. I'll show you that in a second. So yeah, that's where we are. Hello, and I hope you guys are looking forward to your week. I certainly have a lot on. A quick announcement this morning, if you've not seen already. I am no longer shipping to consumers in the US. It's not because I don't want to, it's just a very difficult situation. And I basically have to manually edit and add taxes to every single order. It's an absolute pain in the ass. It takes me way too long. So I just can't manage it. Basically, there are not systems in place to deal with it unless I spend an astronomical amount of money, which makes the whole thing redundant. So unfortunately, no longer able to ship to consumers in the US due to policy changes, etc. So that's the situation there. I'll be trying to keep things up with resellers as much as I can. And digital sales, all the digital stuff is still going through fine. So that is as before, open to basically everyone as much as possible. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, firstly, an update on the things from last week. Or probably it was the last stream, I think. So firstly, we had these pulley doodads. And as I tried them on the stream, it looked like they were reversed. And the reason that happened is because the pulleys, I've got a bunch of them in both, they're like 41 and 52 mil diameter. They look, if you look, just kind of pick them up individually, they're like all basically the same design. So I was like, well, I'll just design for one and then it'll work for all of them. Weirdly, some of them are reversed. So you've got some that are like left-handed and some are right-handed, even though they're like symmetrical, but they're not. Basically, the thing inside rotates a different direction, so turning it around doesn't help that. So yeah, that's a little bit annoying. It just means I have to remake those designs to be symmetrical. So that's what I printed off here, and we'll take a look at that in a second. The other thing is this spring-loaded carriage. Oh, and apologies for the bad audio. The receiver is dead. Even though it's been sitting in the charging case all weekend, for some reason, it's run out of battery. Wow, amazing. So we got this audio today. I might try and upgrade the setup because I've got other cameras and stuff, might use those, would be more efficient. Anyway, back to this. So I assembled this, as you can see, 3 V-slot wheels, the spring-loaded part, and then the third V-slot wheel, which is now spring-loaded. You can probably not see that because the spring load is literally a really tiny bit. The idea is a really stiff spring with a very small travel because we don't want this to move like a tool, but we do need to apply some force in order for the wheels to function. So, yes, I assembled this, placed it on, and I was like, oh my God, it's literally perfect. It's like super duper smooth, super easy, didn't really have to adjust anything, just got it perfectly right first time. And it's like, it's not perfect. It's really very good for, especially for like a complete first guess. But there's definitely some design optimization in terms of sizes, spring length, and all this kind of stuff to make it a little bit stiffer, a little bit more space, and a few other changes. I've actually reprinted it here. This finished Friday afternoon, but I didn't have time to assemble it, so it's off the printer. We could pretend it was on the printer, but I don't really do the pretendy things, so this is it. It's done. Just need to. But yeah, as a concept, on a 3D printer, you'd probably have some trouble because if you apply lots of force, then it definitely can rattle a bit. But for an insert press where you're actually going to be holding the tool anyway, you don't actually use this for its stiffness, mainly for its motion and the retraction capability. So I was absolutely ecstatic to know that not only did it work, but the first attempt was basically spot on. It moves so smoothly and consistently and easily. This is why I like V-Slot wheels a lot for this application, because it doesn't move too fast. It doesn't like make any noise. Cost effective, easy to do. Now with one less part that we have to purchase, one more part to print, but I've reduced the covers and all this kind of stuff. So yes, that's that from last week. Very happy with how that turned out. You wouldn't believe the laughter and giggles I had from having something work first time. It really never gets old. So looking in the printers. Oh, by the way, I have a Anycubic Cobra S1. Bought this sort of using some vouchers that I had from some other thing for a while ago. Not used it at all yet, but it's there. I'll think about using it at some point, maybe, if I get some time. So, in this printer today, we have the new design. Again, I will warn you, these are not finished designs. These are prototype concept testing malarkey. So don't judge me hard on like, oh, this is not perfect, or you should have done this. This is me having an idea and seeing if it's like at all feasible. So now the slot where the clip goes fits all the way through. So it doesn't matter if the clip is on one side or the other, we can flip it around and it should fit all of these. Let me get one as an example. Again, don't know if this is going to fit, but we'll give it a go anyway. So this is what they look like. It's just a retractable pulley thing. Now, obviously, the retraction thing inside is circular. So if you pull it out this way, it wears a lot on one side. If you pull it out at an angle, though, you avoid scratching it on the casing. So that's why we sit it off to one side and it comes down tangent to the circle. So this one comes out this way, which means it has to go in this direction. So basically it goes, I mean, to be honest, it's probably easier to assemble on the other side. Always makes things look difficult doing them from your perspective rather than mine. So that should go in there. Should be a little bit of play. Quite hard to hold everything, show you, and all at the same time. Come on. There we go. So we've got some screw holes in here to hold everything together. I'm not sure, I mean, for concept, I'm just making sure it all works. And then this will attach to the carriage. So again, I'm not a fan of being able to see these bits. Maybe we'll make the whole thing wider so it's always permanently enclosed. Maybe it needs an extra bracket on the inside to help with assembly, because as you saw, it's a bit of a handful, but that will then attach to the carriage as you put it down, and then it will pull back up. I have noticed quite a bit of variability in the strength of these, even if they all look basically identical. Some will lift the carriage fine and some will not. So I need to do some testing on exactly what that load capacity is, what load capacity is required, and then which model numbers, if possible, given that they don't really have model numbers, are viable. Working out the weights, because we have direct weight on this, I just need to attach some washers probably, work out what that weight is. So yeah, that's the new version of that. Should work with both of these symmetrically, and of course the larger design as well. So it's the same thing basically, just with a bigger hole in the middle because it's a bigger retractor. Again, the bigger size doesn't necessarily correlate with larger force either. Some of them are, some of them aren't. It's a bit of a gamble, but the idea is to have accessibility You print whichever size works for the things that you have or you can access in your country, in your locale, whatever, at your local hardware store. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Should work nicely. Other than fitting this, the other features kind of worked as expected, so I think pretty good there. You might have to do something to try and reduce the rotation a little bit, but maybe once it's clamped in, it's going to be fine. But then they all vary in thickness and stuff as well. It's a bit of a pickle, but I'm sure we'll find a way. Concept-wise, looking good though. So yeah, that's that lot. The other printer we have things in today is the H2S. Ooh, ABS black, and yes, luckily emptied the spool. So we can get rid of the spare, take that out. I'm going to put a new black in here. I don't know if you can hear me as well because I don't have the lav on. Always nice when it works first time. Yes, working first time is just, oh. So these parts are all my new Voron skirt parts. A rebuild of my old Voron, maybe I should say. So I'm making a more robust skirt. You might be familiar with the old one, the old design with all the hexagons and the kind of C-channel shape. I'm trying to make it more robust. It does require more plastic, so there are negatives. There are downsides to this. It's not just a, oh, my design is better situation. It's different. But yes, redesigning all of the parts. I'm not heavily going on the aesthetics too much. I've just put these like little square patterns in. Just for funsies. That's this piece, and that's this piece. So these are just a test piece, test set. With M5s instead of the M3s on the original design. They also have a slightly longer clamping length. I think it's slightly longer as well, and that should improve the stiffness and the kind of joint strength thing. They also have a little attachment hole, so whenever these are the same side, whenever they attach next to each other like this, you can also attach them together. So that should reduce any kind of independence between loading on each of them and should share it a little bit better across several different things. There's also more holes for mounting the panel. So insert a hole here, insert a hole here. Every single one of these pieces that goes by the cover will attach to the cover. That gives not only these parts better strength, but also makes the panel a bit stronger for when you're like lifting it. I mean, it doesn't make the panel itself stronger, but the whole thing becomes just much more rigid if you attach it to all the things. Other than that, the philosophy design is basically the same. Obviously, you've got like these little cutouts for where the wheels are and that kind of stuff. This is a power thing, so it means power connection goes in there. Again, all the geometry behind it is basically identical. This is the one for the fans. Just sort of modified it to be what I want for extra stiffness and strength. Don't know if it's going to be better overall. I don't know if it suits everyone's needs because, again, I want this because I move the printer quite a bit. At least that's generally what's caused damage for me. So, yes, by taking that aspect away, we end up with, hopefully, a nice strong printer. Quite a lot of plastic just to print these, like 5 or 6 parts, whatever it is. These are 5. So it is a pretty plastic-heavy design, which I'm not the happiest about, but it is what it is. Ultimately, we're making a printer out of plastic. It takes quite a lot of plastic. Good morning, Matt. Good to see you. Does anyone have questions this morning? I don't think I have much more to cover. Well, I can show you. So the Positron 3D printer, you're probably aware of. It's the Australian style, the upside down one that fits in a filament box. I was obviously watching that for quite a while as it came out and was going through development as kits were appearing. Pretty much on day one they were available. I bought a kit because I was like, this is a cool printer. I want to have one. even if I don't plan to use it. I just want to have one. That was like last year. Kit arrived, never had time to actually build the blooming thing, which was a little bit annoying. It then went through a bunch of revisions and updates to little things, whole bunch of like fastener changes, little design tweaks and stuff like that. Finally managed to print it and get it built, so I can show you. Ta-da! So you get this whole case with it, like a travel case. See if I can set this up so you can actually see how it fits in the box. Can I flip camera? Here we go. So you get, yeah, just nice, just kind of clips shut. Then you can open it, clips. Basically like a flight case thing. I have two different types of beds. They sent me the newer bed. The original was obviously the glass one, which I think kind of looked cooler, but maybe less useful for printing. You've got the display spool holders. And then under here is a folded up 3D printer with a power supply and everything just in there. I'm not going to get the whole thing out now. Again, I don't, unfortunately, imagine myself using it as a printer that often. I've not fully set it up yet. I've just brought it back to work. I did all the assembly stuff at home, just because I wanted to do it kind of outside of work time. It was like a hobby sort of build for me. Part of trying to enjoy 3D printing as a hobby rather than just work. So yes, now that that's done, I have it ready to kind of calibrate, update, get it all printing. I'll probably then put it back in the box, maybe have it as shows all stuff occasionally, depending on how much other stuff I need to bring to these various events. Not been to an event in a little while now. Maybe we'll do one soon. November, Form Next. That's going to be coming up very soon before you know it, it'll be here. Hopefully I'll be there, although I haven't organized anything yet. Normally the week before is the way I do things. Not typically, but it tends to be the way it is. I did also, I can't share that at the moment. I think that's going to be it for today. Shared as much as I can for now, and hopefully be able to share more during the rest of the week. Just looking around for other things which might be shareable. But yes, I don't think anything at the moment. Slightly shorter one today, beginning of the week. Time to actually get some things done. Hope you all have a good rest of the day. And if I don't see you, a good rest of the week. For those that will be around, I shall catch you tomorrow morning for another coffee and a little chat about 3D printing. Things that I'm working on, things that I've printed, stuff and whatever is going on. Goodbye and enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-da!